up, what adults do, and then we went to bed at 8:30, right? Because I go to bed very early every night. Well,
Welcome to KLTV.News. I'm Christy Lee. I have a special guest today, Xan John. He's running for U.S. Senate representing Louisiana. This isn't his first rodeo. He ran in 2020. He spent 11 years in the oil and gas industry, so he's kind of an everyday man that's getting into politics. Xan, thank you for joining us.
yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for having me. Happy to be here.
And so what did I miss there when I introduced you that you feel is important to say who you are?
I'm very dead set on justice. I've seen a lot of corrupt things, to say, for the least, offshore and in other branches of industry that I've worked in. And all of these things simply, I guess you could say, rearrange my atoms to make me dead set on justice. And I know if they happen in these industries, they got to happen everywhere. And I just want to be a voice of truth. And I gave it all up. I will not succumb to whatever kind of money is thrown at me. And I simply want to maintain the integrity of this nation before it's not even here anymore.
Okay. So we're seeing a lot more people actually getting involved rather than commenting on politics, actually doing something about it, like yourself. So what got you into politics and drove you into making that big life change?
A whole bunch of things. One of them is I actually met the age requirement to run for United States Senate. And I wanted to run for an office where I could have a bigger impact than something like running locally. I wanted to get involved in the federal system. I think this whole COVID smokescreen agenda is coming from the top down, so I wanted to go straight to the belly of the beast. And I know it's a whole bunch that I bit off, and a lot of people said, you bit off a lot more than you can chew. And I said, you know what, I'm still going to learn along the way, and I'm very excited that I ran in 2020, and I got to go to several debates, and I got to clarify my message and better understand what all is involved with this. Also, too, what got me involved with the process is the way I was raised. My father raised me to be very assertive. He says you have to help yourself before you can help others. And everywhere you go, I don't know about you, I'll speak for myself, but every time I'm out eating or somewhere or I meet people new, I mean, people can't help but talk about politics, especially in the times we're in right now. So I never wanted to be someone that just talked about it. I didn't want to be an activist. I wanted to be more of an actor. And seeking political office gives me that opportunity.
And now you mentioned that some people said you bit off more than you can chew. I did notice that in the 2020 election, you did come in dead last.
Yes.
So what keeps you motivated and what makes you think that pressing on forward is going to make a difference?
Well, check this out. So I got 2,808 votes. That's everyone besides the people I ran against. They just got the opportunity to put in one vote. So that's 2,800 votes times the vote I would have put in without me getting involved. Also, to me, it's just a starting point. I didn't have any money to fund myself. I'm a one-man band. I simply do the research and put out a message that I know is truthful. I definitely want to be on the right side of history with this. I don't really mind being considered a black sheep now. It's almost like the whole Pablo Picasso dynamic, if you will. I know I might be underappreciated now, but as these measures and lockdowns just continue to tighten down on us, I know that my message will definitely resonate with a lot more people, and especially people that are running in these Democrat or Rhino Republican roles. They're really not going to have a leg to stand on as far as making any logical points. They can, if anyone's parroting the mainstream narrative. Yes, I'm sure they'll be able to raise tons of money, but someone like me, you catch the most flack when you're over the target. So I'm definitely someone that is just building a track record right now, and I'll continue to run until I win. I do not want to be part of a generation that didn't stand up and exercise their rights. Like I said earlier, I do fear that this opportunity will go away, or there'll be some sort of justification, or I have to be vaxxed to do it.
Now, in November 2020, you had said that this was a fake virus and a fake election. You say you're going to keep on running until you win, but if you don't even believe in the election process and that it's a rigged election, then how do you intend to make that happen?
That's wonderful. I can at least be a voice for people and hopefully inspire people. I do know, and tons of other people understand that the election with Trump was rigged, especially in these bellwether counties. I can get in the weeds on that. Also, too, the Louisiana state governor, the last election was rigged in Orleans and Baton Rouge Parish, and it's obvious if one goes back and look. Um, I still want to push on and put pressure. I feel it's my civic duty, and I think if more people like me stand up, they will further inspire others. I want to show people that it's not some scary process. If you're a decent public speaker, you can get out and you will be invited to debates and you can get your message out. And that this is what it takes to get this country back, so to speak.
Now, it might be debatable whether the election was rigged or not, but there certainly were abnormalities. I mean, for one, we'd never had so much mail-in or early voting with this pandemic as the excuse for that. And seeing the chart, there are mathematicians that say that spike was a statistical impossibility. But we're seeing more and more come out as far as the true audits. But what is the hope that anything will actually be done about it? And again, if nothing's done about it, what will keep you going in running in what you call a rigged election system?
Well, that's a wonderful question. I sit and I think about these things all the time too. It is a paradox. However, instead of sitting back and feeling defeated, if anything, I want to double down. Our opposition, the opposition to our citizens' liberties and the integrity of the Constitution, they're doubling down. So I want to double down, if not triple down. And yeah, like you said, the radical left is telling on themselves whenever they have to send tons of attorneys out to Maricopa County and Fulton County and just do such a rush job of covering up and delaying. The facts are not on their side. And also, too, moving forward, yeah, to be honest, I just go back to the same point, is we just have to constantly put pressure on them. And just like they make us feel uncomfortable for questioning the election, we have to make them feel uncomfortable for posing that we shouldn't even question this election. That is fully within our civic rights. I mean, I could point to these laws. This is nothing crazy, and it's just a complete inverse of logic. So again, even if I may be vestigial in these first attempts, they're all learning attempts, and hopefully I can bring minutia and momentum to a new generation of voters and just try and reinstate the integrity of this whole process, because if it doesn't get fixed moving forward, we will not have a free nation, at least.
Now, you've mentioned radical lefts and Democrats,
Yes.
but you're running as an independent, so something keeps you from running as a Republican. Tell me what the major issues are with the Democratic Party and the Republican Party and why you chose to run as an independent.
I am a registered Republican. The only reason I did not run as a Republican, and I'm so glad you asked this, is to disambiguate myself with all of the poser Republicans, your Liz Cheneys, people that are rhinos, or people that flip-flop. I wanted to be a party that encompassed everything that the Republican Party should have been. If anything, this is almost the super Republican Party. I call this the Gold Party. It's actually what I founded because I don't have enough constituents that registered. It shows up as independent. But if anything, I'm further right and want to return to the gold standard, if you will, literally and metaphorically. And I just didn't ever want to be someone that the left had ammunition on, or even people that have problems with the Republican Party as far as their flip-flopping. I wanted to start a movement that would have integrity from the beginning, start a track record of adhering to the truth. And I would never be involved with the Democratic Party. It's continued to evolve. Real quick, sidebar. Years ago here in Louisiana, for the most part, a lot of people were Democrat. Back when JFK was president and Edwin Edwards was governor, that changed. And now, to be a Democrat, it's such a different. It's actually, to be honest, it's constantly evolving. I could put a name on it now, but it could be even further to the left in 2 more days.
Correct. And you said, I have to ask that with your background in the oil and gas
Of course.
industry, we're seeing spikes in gas. I mean, most recently, I lived in California, and those gas
Yes.
prices were insane. We're only seeing it getting worse. With your background in the oil and gas industry, is there anything you can shed light on as why we're seeing these spikes? Who's to blame? What's to blame?
I can only give what I speculate, what I feel is true. They're coming from oil and gas. If you don't mind, I will actually turn the camera to this. That is an offshore oil and gas map of huge reservoirs that are still full to this day. I could get into that. But the point I'm trying to make is with my 11-year production oil and gas experience, forgive me for the camera, there is so much left. And there's also something called tertiary recovery, which is where you actually inject medical grade CO2 or some sort of gas that will stick to the oil and literally flush the whole formation out. So primary and secondary oil and gas recovery is it's not even halfway through. I don't even know how to explain it. There's so much oil and gas left. So with these surges on prices, to me, it's a political move to usher us all into the control mechanisms of using a battery vehicle, something that can be updated via Wi-Fi, something that the government has an easier time controlling. A gasoline motor without any computers, an older model vehicle, you can just crank up and go whenever, no matter who you voted for, no matter if you're late on your taxes or what. It allows some sort of sovereignty that an electric vehicle cannot. So I think it's to punish us carbon users in a way, which we are, carbon based, and more on that later. But these spikes are simply political, and there's tons and tons of oil and gas. And for any naysayer on that, I will happily show you wells that are producing, they call them barn burners, that are just flowing their little rear ends off. And I can go all in
Yeah.
on a
All right,
tertiary.
Zan, it sounds like we would need to cover that in a whole segment by itself. But I did want to, you signed up for politics. You know it can get
Yes,
dirty, so you know I had to do some digging. I did
of course.
see that you faced a misdemeanor battery charge in Miami-Dade, County, Florida in 2020. Do you want to explain what happened there?
I'd love to. Actually, it came up across as a felony. It was an accusation. So check this out. So my girlfriend and I, have you been told? Are you an attorney? Because I don't want to insult your intelligence by giving
No,
a
I'm
breakdown.
not an attorney.
Okay, well, for everyone that isn't an attorney and hasn't experienced law school, the first semester, I promise I'm gonna make this all make sense. The first semester of your 1L year is the hardest. That's the semester they want to fail you out. Okay, so I made it to my second semester, my January, February, and it's February 3rd. My girlfriend and I got into a verbal argument. Then we had makeup, what adults do, and then we went to bed at 8:30, right? Because I go to bed very early every night. Well, unbeknownst to us, right as we're falling asleep, lights flick on, cops bust in, and literally drag me away and kick her off campus, which I found out subsequently. So someone just called the cops that I was beating my girlfriend, which was news to Leslie and I. So I had to wait over a year and a half for that case. During the summer of last year, it dropped from a felony to a misdemeanor. It was dismissed out of court this year, March 17th, and then it was expunged off my record July 19th, which is a Monday, I think, about a week and a half ago. And I promise you, I'll tell you what, that hit piece from KLFY, if I was a Joe Biden supporter and I happily wore my mask and had 2 jabs, there wouldn't be any news. So I even reached out to that station before all that prior and tried to get some airtime to try and get my message out. But it's just accusations. Doing good invites envy and invites enemies. And I was kicking butt in law school. So.
All right, Zan, we're going to wrap this up, but I did want to ask you, I did notice you also have a YouTube channel. What are your
Yes, ma'am.
thoughts on the extensive censorship that we're seeing, and how are you fighting your channel being banned or fighting the censorship?
I don't know if I'm really fighting. I think I'm just using this before. I know it's a matter of time till I get censored, till we get censored, until all of this is gone and we have to move to another medium. So, I mean, I guess you could call it fighting, but all I do is continue to get my message out until they snuff me. I'll never pull the plug before they do out of fear. So I'm holding on. I'm riding this till the wheels fall off.
All right. Thank you for spending some time with us, Xan John, and we wish you luck with your campaign and keep us updated. And we'll catch up again later.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so very much. Bye, y'all.
Bye.